perfect. Keep planning quicker than we started. Evidence we misalignment, not be more in love with you each argument. Something wrong with me. I like the way you screw your face up, trigger me right when I need it. You wrong, but I can't get on without you. It's a shame and I can't blame myself. Keep it loving you, you do it this. All that I know is mirrors inside me. They recognize you. Please don't deny me.
It's different, it's different. It's different, it's different, it's different, it's different. It's different when I'm sitting here alone all by myself. It's different when I think you might be with somebody else. It's different.
This is Felicia Temple, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hi, I'm urban Christian artist Kayla James, and you're listening to iLive Radio. iLive Radio. iLive Radio. iLive Radio.
This is Atina, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is your boy Easeman. You're listening to iLive Radio, supporting independent artists from around the world.
Ready for Rapsalute? We're the #1 hip-hop show in the T-Dot, airing every Monday from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. on iLiveRadio.com with your host Amber, alongside DJ Shortcut, Chino, Dean, and Caesar Swift on the ones and twos, representing the culture, the lifestyle, the music, and the DJs.
Hey, peace and blessings. This is Lucia D inviting you to join me each and every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. for Honey Drop here on iLive Radio. Journey with me each week as I spin the latest international sounds in new soul, R&B, hip-hop, and a little taste of everything in between. Every show features independent producers from across the globe in the beats beneath, and the 10 sweetest vibes of the week smooth out the night in the 10 Drop. Honey Drop, each and every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, here on iLive Radio, serving up audible treats like honey, always with a heavy beat drop.
Attention all musicians, bands, associations, clubs, and organizations that represent collective styles of music across Canada. Now is the time to rebuild our collective music nation genres like hip-hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a non-profit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. The Collective Music Nation. One voice, strength in unity.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music. Sponsored by Independent Hype and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iLiveRadio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
Ray Hendricks, Slipping into Darkness on iLive Radio. It is my pleasure to welcome you each and every Wednesday between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. to Slipping into Darkness, my selection of sublime jazz and conversations with very special guests. Tune in each and every Wednesday between 9 p.m. and and 11 p.m. to Slipping into Darkness on iLive Radio. iLive Radio.
Hi, this is Miss Law. Tune in to Talks Honest every Sunday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on iLive UK, discussing topics often thought of but never spoken. That's Sundays, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on iLive UK.
Music back to back to back on iLive Radio.
Taxman here. I invite you to join me each and every Thursday between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. right here on iLive Radio, where we give you the very best in independent and neo-soul flavors. We also feature the UK Top 20 Independent Soul Chart, counting you down from number 20 all the way down to number 1. Why not check us out every Thursday between the hours of 5 to 7 right here on iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to music.
This is Miss Care, keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music, sponsored by Independent Hype, and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iLiveRadio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
Attention all musicians, bands, associations, clubs, and organizations that represent collective styles of music across Canada. Now is the time to rebuild our collective music nation genres like hip-hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a non-profit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. The Collective Music Nation. One voice, strength in unity.
Hey, doing guys, it's your DJ Magic J with the lovely
Shay
and the one and only DJ Express. Catch us each and every Tuesday night on iLive UK with the show called Who Loves Afrobeats, and we're gonna give you the best flavors in Afrobeat music, entertainment news from the lovely Endurance from Nigeria. So make sure you tune in each and every Tuesday night from the hours of 9 p.m. to
12 a.m.
on iLive UK. Who Loves Afro?
Are you ready for Rapsalute? We're the number one hip hop show in the T-Dot, airing every Monday from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. on iLiveRadio.com with your host Amber, alongside DJ Shortcut, Chino, Dean, and Caesar Swift on the ones and twos, representing the culture, the lifestyle, the music, and the DJs.
Join me, Sims Mode, for that Saturday vibe every Saturday between 4 and 6 p.m. on iLive UK, giving you 2 hours of music, talk and discussions, competitions, interviews with guests, local, national and international from all walks of life. So keep it iLive UK for that Saturday vibe.
Taxman here. I invite you to join me each and every Thursday between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. right here on iLive Radio, where we give you the very best in independent and neo-soul flavors. We also feature the UK Top 20 Independent Soul Chart, counting you down from number 20 all the way down to number 1. Why not check us out every Thursday between the hours of 5 to 7 right here on iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to music.
Join me, Sims Mode, for that Saturday vibe every Saturday between 4 and 6 p.m. on iLive UK, giving you 2 hours of music, talk and discussions, competitions, interviews with guests, local, national and international from all walks of life. So keep it iLive UK for that Saturday vibe.
What's going on, everybody in cyberspace? This is the Groove Show with your boy, the crowd pleaser, DJ Mark Anthony. Don't forget, Each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m., we want to put you in the mood for whatever the night has in store. I'm playing only the best feel-good party rocking, body-shaking music from funk to soul to reggae to R&B, house to salsa, and much, much more. We call it The Groove each and every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Keep it locked. It's the crowd pleaser, baby. You know how we do. We'll see you on the air. Peace.
Attention à tous les musiciens, groupes, associations, clubs et organisations qui représentent les styles collectifs de musique à travers le Canada. Le moment est venu de reconstruire nos genres de nations musicales collectives comme le hip-hop, le R&B, le jazz, le soul, le reggae, le gospel et plus unis. La Nation de la musique collective est une organisation à but non lucratif engagée dans le développement de la musique collective. Des adhésions gratuites sont disponibles dès maintenant. La Nation de la musique collective, une seule voix, la force dans l'unité.
Hey, hello and welcome, it's your girl Claude, aka Miss Ouch, right here on iLive UK. Be sure to tune into my shows each and every Saturday between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. My shows are called The Independent Injection because you can expect to hear deep and meaningful, fresh neo and bassline soul, slow jams and gospel mixed with a little bit of nostalgia. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.
All right, greetings. Hello, everybody. iLive Radio community. I hope everyone is doing well. I want to welcome everyone to the Music is Everything podcast. This is episode number 19. And very excited with our guest this evening. I'll be bringing her in very shortly. But I hope everyone's been doing well. It's a crazy day in the 6th. I think we had rain, typical fall day, some flurries, and then it was sunny. So a very typical Canadian day. But we're grateful for everyone who's been listening, everyone who's been commenting. And the Music is Everything podcast is all about uplifting people in the music industry, special event, corporate, and wedding industry. The whole podcast is focused on uplifting the energy, the efforts, and the passion of so many event professionals and so many people who work in the event and hospitality industry. And we want to give them some time to spotlight, highlight the things that they're doing and share their journey. So we are going to get to our guests in a matter of moments. First of all, I wanted to say a big shout out to my two boys, Braylon and Brian, who are listening. I want to let you guys know that Daddy loves you. Be good for mommy and go to bed on time. We're going to start off tonight a little bit different. We're going to play a track from an artist in the Canadian music scene. Her name is Jasmine, and she's being represented by Sasha Stoltz PR agency. Sorry, I got a little bit tongue-tied. So Sasha Stoltz PR agency. Her name is Jasmine, and she just dropped, one of her clients just dropped, Sasha's, one of her new clients, her name is Jasmine, just dropped a new track. She's 8 years old, and we're going to play the track. It's a beautiful track, and I want you guys to hear this, and then we're going to bring in tonight's featured guest. All right, here we go. A new track by Jasmine. Take this in, and I'm hoping that you'll be inspired.
Show you.
So there you have it, Jasmine. The track, if you didn't clue in, it's called Dancin'. And yes, I think it's very TikTok worthy. So big up, Jasmine. That's a beautiful song. And yeah, we'll be playing that on the podcast a little bit later. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank tonight's guest, Paulina O'Keefe Anthony, for coming on to tonight's podcast. Let me give you a proper welcome. So Paulina is a spoken word artist. She is a community activist, community consultant. She is one of my sheroes, a she boss, and most recently was recognized as one of 150 Black women making herstory, as featured on CBC for her contribution to building the art scene in Toronto. I'm not going to read her entire bio right now. We're going to kind of tease it out throughout the podcast, but she's an amazing person, a mother, someone who's been in the artistic and community landscape for a very long time. And I'm really grateful that you could be here on the podcast tonight. So welcome.
Thank you.
So how are you doing? How you been?
I'm feeling great. Sugared up on the leftovers of the candy we purchased this year, sadly. But yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you.
No, awesome. Yes, we did something kind of creative with our kids. We did like sort of a scavenger hunt and activities in the park with some other like cohort of kids, and we had stations everywhere, so there was like lots of room and everything. So yeah, we tried to be innovative with Halloween this year. But yeah, loving the candy. So I see some people on the outside. Just want to hail up Simba. I see Mr. Wallace has joined. Want to welcome everyone on the Facebook and say hello. Everyone on iLive Radio listening. If you're checking us out on Mixcloud or YouTube, it's under iLive Radio. You can find us out. So I know I want to talk to you definitely about some of the spoken word elements. And I know I've kind of put your feet to the fire, as we say, that you're going to maybe drop some bars a little bit later for us or read something for us from one of your many amazing pieces. But I know obviously how you and I met was essentially from community work initially. So I guess I'm just wondering, I don't know if I've ever really asked you this. What got you into doing community work?
Actually, it's so funny. Spoken word.
Okay.
My poetry and my art actually like kind of helped me cross over. When I first started doing spoken word, and I was part of a really dope youth spoken word group, which now you see them all over the place, but there weren't that many when I started, called Rhyme. Shout outs to Spin and Motion and Heather for putting that together.
Hold on a second. Let me just give them a yes.
They deserve it. And so at one point, the group got a grant or a couple grants to do work in the community and work with young people in high schools to teach some classes, and then we collected their work and created a chapbook out of their work. And so that's literally my first taste of working in community, as you say. So imagine like you just graduated high school, like maybe a year out, and you're teaching folks who are like your age and like trying to command authority. And trying to
my gosh.
So wild. But doing more and more in that across the city gave me kind of the leverage, and then I started applying for like actual like community non-for-profit kind of jobs, and that's kind of how I started. But always in the arts, not-for-profit arts community for the most part, or youth-led stuff.
So I know you've done so much work. I know you and I have worked together in past. We continue to work together. So I guess the question I had for you is, what have been some of the highlights for you while working kind of in your role? Like, are there some things that really have jumped out to you? I mean, I know I can cover like so many things, but are there a few things that really jump out at you in terms of your community work?
I think the highlights of my work is just seeing the change of a young person going through your program, or just even going through your one-off workshop, or just knowing that art is an option for them. Yeah, just seeing people's lives change and understand that they can do something other than what their parents told them that might have been limiting, that they have now this tool for self-expression where they might have just felt silenced. So that's been the best work. And also I would say seeing a lot of the young people I've worked with over time become now leaders in their community, and they're coming up under me, and I'm like out here mentoring them to like platform up and bring people behind them. So it's really cool to see the effect that you can have over the long term, like you know, now being like 15 years in the game and like seeing how many people and where they are that you've mentored. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah. I've shared many times in the past as well. Myself, I do come from that background as well, and can definitely attest that working particularly in the Western Mount Dennis community for 10 years plus. Big up Orville Wallace, bam, bam, bam. He's tuning in, saying hi. Yeah, it's amazing to see a pocket of youth that you've worked with, like now 14 to whatever, now they're 24, 25, 26, and seeing where they're at. So that's really awesome. So I know you mentioned that for some of the youth, like giving them the tool as an artist, like how that's maybe opened them up or empowered them. I'm wondering for yourself, like how has community work, because it's so multi-layered and multifaceted, how do you think maybe it's impacted you as an entrepreneur or like as a consultant, or even in your personal life? How do you feel that, working in community has maybe benefited you, helped you open your eyes up to things?
Yeah, it's definitely opened my eyes up to things because I had the privilege of working in almost every neighborhood in Toronto. So they're all different. They have their own different flavors, their own different, cultures. And it was really nice to like be able to like see that and experience that. But I think like for the most part, what it's done for me is validated myself as an artist in a time like not now, but before, when, artist is not a career, get a real job. And then you can do this little thing on the side. But now you see everything's popping up. It's all about content creators, spoken word this. Influencers and music. So I really feel like working in the community also helps me feel like in a world where so many things are happening, it's the little thing that I know I'm contributing to and making the world a little bit of a better place for somebody individually or a group of folks. And, that helps me feel better about just being in this world, which is like every other day on the news feels like it's on fire. So, it's my little piece of like water I'm sprinkling to put out some of the help put out some of the fires. And it makes you feel like you can actually do something and less of being in that helpless kind of state. And I also think it really opens your eyes to, the different ways people live. And so you're not just stuck in this one set mindset, like this is it. No, there are people who live so many different ways, and not every way that you think is the right way.
And I guess why would that message be important for young people or even for other creatives to embrace? Or do you think they embrace it?
I think that it's important for creatives to embrace that because, one, you need to remember that there's a lane for everyone. I was able to carve out my own lane, and that was a really cool experience over the last 15 years. Even though there's a ton of spoken word artists, including my awesome mentors who brought me up before, and including the really cool people that are coming after me, right? You're able to carve your own lane, and that's really important in this world. Second, you're able to create another income. And as we all know, you cannot live on one income, not in Toronto, definitely not anymore. And soon not anywhere, actually. And so it allows you some control and freedom to make your money on the side and be able to live. And then thirdly, I feel like it's an important time. Content creation, influencing, just being a creative is the thing now. So I'm really happy that it's opening it up for young people to dive in, and you don't have to be, a corporate slave for the rest of your life if that's not what you want to do. And I really like that that's open for a lot of people.
Yeah, awesome. Well, there you have it. We want to welcome people who've just logged in. Music is Everything podcast. We're here with Paulina O'Keefe Anthony. She's a creative consultant. She's a spoken word artist and someone who works in community, many years sharing her passion of spoken word. And she's also been recognized as one of 150 Black women making herstory as featured on CBC, and who has really contributed to the artistic landscape here in Toronto. I want to hail up Christopher Lawrence right now. What's up? I know the big homie's watching, so he's another really great community advocate and social legacy enterprises. Hit him up; he's a good guy. So I'm wondering if in terms of spoken, or sorry, I already asked you this question, I guess, in community work, sort of what are some of your fondest memories? I guess I'm wondering if there would be something that you would like to change, I guess, with community work, right? Maybe an approach, I don't know. But if there was sort of like a magic wand that you had and you could change one thing about the sector, like what might it be for you?
Just one.
I know, just one.
In terms of community work, if I only had to choose one thing right now, it would be the way that funding is structured. I definitely have committed a lot of my work to making funding more accessible to smaller organizations, grassroots groups, individual artists who are just starting out. Funding barriers are still very real, and I think if we could make those funds more accessible and more equitably accessible, you would see a whole different type of community work, right? You get larger organizations who get a lot of the funding, but it's actually a lot of the grassroots groups. It's the work on the ground that's really making just as huge an impact, but because they don't have the capacity to, access funding in that way. Same thing with smaller individual artists. Big artists are already getting backed by labels, etc. And then these funds should be here for these artists to kind of get off the ground and get into that arena of major labels later on. But the funds are there to support them. And so if we could equitably and get that funding access to artists, I think you would see a whole shift in community sector in regards to burnout, in regards to, just being able to live here and not having to work like at Starbucks while you're in the studio, like to 1 a.m. and then trying to go to your job and balance what you love versus, hey, I need to pay the rent.
Right.
So I think funding accessibility would be the first thing I change and make it way more equitable, way more accessible, particularly for Black and Indigenous artists.
Yeah, no, I've done some reading and stuff in terms of the impact for artists. I mean, on one hand, we bring in the artist, entertainment, hospitality community brings in like billions of dollars, right? Just Caravana alone is like something that I don't think that the city works terribly hard to necessarily advertise. They really get a lot of residual income based on the backs of others. And so, particularly in Toronto, a lot of artists are actually moving more out to the fringes because just to survive on their art, there's always that challenge. So, I appreciate what you're saying. And I think if I had a magic wand, I think that might be something along the lines that I would kind of hope for as well. I think also more like bigger wages for people to be paid for their skill set and their talent. I think would be something that I would also kind of do a double tap on, right? So
but that all stems from funding because wages are set by how much funds a community organization can bring in. So the more accessibility to funds, the more you can pay your people, right?
No, absolutely. I just want to thank my designer, Miss Blasphemese. Kim, what's up? She's just popping in. So I want to transition now because I know you wear many hats, and obviously there's a beginning, but then there's kind of what you're doing now. And I guess I've heard you say it as well as DT, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, talking about #ArtistLife, right? So Paulina is a member of the League of Poets and associate member of the Playwriters Guild. Her high-level accomplishments include being featured in When Sisters Speak on stage at the St. Lawrence Center for Performing Arts, which is something that I know Dwayne Morgan has been the creator of for probably 25 years, right? 25 and a bit. And she's also co-produced the Spoken Soul Festival and representing Toronto as a two-time national team finalist in the Canadian Festival of Spoken Word. So I just wanted to know, I think maybe people have an idea of spoken word, and I know that you and myself have had an opportunity to work together in past, and I remember when you talked about we could do spoken word, I was like, I don't really know sort of what it is. I think I know what it is. So before you kind of delve into sharing, you know what I mean, more about it. What is spoken word, just so that our listeners kind of have like a baseline to kind of understand. And how's it different from rap?
Yeah, for sure. So to me, spoken word is definitely a freedom of expression that I think has, some of the least limiting in terms of structure. So you can get up on stage with your poem and really it's performative poetry. That's basically what it is. Whereas rap follows a particular cadence, a particular structure in the beats and bars structure. Spoken word, you can take it anywhere you want to go and be very creative with it. You could be there's spoken word artists who have their set, and then there are really dope spoken word artists like Ian Kediku, for example, who just go all over the place and is so experimental that I love. He's so creative with it too, and takes it to where he wants to take it. So to me, it's unstructured or creative expression, performative poetry on stage. So it's different than just kind of reading, I think, how the poetry readings used to be, where you're just reading off the paper, sitting there looking down on a stool. It really brings out the characters and the story and the vision of whatever it is that you're performing out there. Mm-hmm. And it's really a more audience engaged type of art, and really the point is to connect with your audience and have your audience connect with the stories or whatever it is that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So that's, to me, what spoken word is.
Right. And then, so I guess if we were to delve deeper and say spoken word performance poetry, is it like pretty much the same, or are there some extra things that are done with maybe the extra wording that I've just added onto it?
No, I personally think spoken word performance poetry, slam poetry, it's all the same. It's just performative poetry. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get points for it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't, and you're at a open mic instead. It's just whatever the parameters around it, but essentially it is you taking your poetry, your written poetry, and prepping it for the stage, and in a very audience engaged way, to me.
Right. And so how did you start doing it?
How did I start?
Yeah, doing spoken word. It's kind of, because it's interesting for myself, dating myself, but I remember some of my earlier years in university, and it was this thing, but I don't know, for me, I just couldn't catch on to some of the artistic side of it. Because I've always been a rap fan per se, so I understood prose and writing, but it's just kind of seeing it, not really understanding. But I know that now it's so much bigger now, maybe with the help of social media. But back then, obviously, even 10, 15 years ago, the same types of social media elements may not have been there. So what kind of pulled you into doing it and starting this desire to say, yeah, I want to do that?
Yeah, I've been a writer since I was very, very young. Theater, essays, plays, all kinds of stuff. But what pulled me in was this group, RHYME, Revolutionaries Honoring Your Mind's Eye. That's what it stood for. And, being a poli-sci student, fresh poli-sci student at York University, you couldn't get any more revolutionary than that in the university circuit.
Yes.
So meeting Spin and Motion and Heather Hermont, who kind of pulled together a bunch of young people from different walks of life and doing these sessions, kind of like the sessions that I do now, or kind of like what people might know Rise does, for example. Mm-hmm. So on a weekly basis, we'd gather in this classroom at York University, and then they would take us through what spoken word was. They would take us through kind of a little bit of the history. They'd introduce us to really interesting key things to read. Then we'd write reflections on it. Then we'd work on how we would perform it. We'd give each other critical feedback. They'd give us feedback. They'd take us, and when I first started, I didn't even I was performing for people that were so great that I didn't even know. I remember at one time I was performing at a show, we were kind of just brought in as these youth features, but with the Dub Poets Collective, and I'm and only years later I'm oh my gosh, So to me, I wasn't they were slowly introducing us to that world, but also kind of grooming us and helping us in terms of how to perform the poetry, not just write it. So we're sitting, we're thinking, we're critically analyzing, we're writing our poetry, and then working on that. And then as we got introduced through that group to so many things, you know, we'd attend When Sisters Speak or When Brothers Speak. We got introduced to Dwayne Morgan, to Amani, you know, to Be Young, Lillian Allen. Like, literally, we were in the company of greats, but it took us a while to even realize that they were greats, because as you were saying, spoken word was not even like really a big thing that young people really had latched onto yet.
Right.
So it was really, it was just quite the journey, and I'm really forever grateful for that, you know, first time I ever performed on stage, because I never stopped after that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's awesome. It sounds like also that you got introduced to, I guess, as they say, like the Top Shatas, the Big Willies, like people that really, I think, give justice to the art form. So I feel like you're sitting at the feet of masters and people who have been doing it for a really, really long time, right? So it sounds like an amazing first introduction. So you mentioned kind of being maybe thrown out to the wolves a little bit, realizing that you're a feature, but you're part of this big art collective. So I'm wondering, out of all the shows you've done, which show were you the most nervous at?
Oh my gosh. The show that I was the most nervous at was the first time I performed at When Sisters Speak. I have been waiting for 10 years. I've been attending When Sisters Speak for 10 years. Dwayne already knows this.
Okay.
Before I got asked to be on it. And I honestly like jumped up and down in my living room when he asked me. And but then when the night came, I was so nervous, because this is like the biggest stage I've ever performed on, in a show that I've been waiting like a decade to perform in, and I've seen like greats, Canadian and Americans, be on. So it was so nerve-wracking. I wanted to like the perfect set, you know, it was a lot, the perfect outfit, like it was crazy. So that was the most nerve-wracking show, I'd have to say that. But it was the best show. It was awesome, and I got to bring my daughter on stage at the time.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, shout outs to my baby Eva and my baby CJ. They're listening right now with their dad.
Hold on. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, so that was the most nerve-wracking show, but I'm honestly so grateful for that. And and then continuing on with mentorship from Dwayne really elevated me from there.
Yeah. Awesome. So what is your favorite piece to perform? Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite piece to perform, because it all depends on the setting, right? I usually get booked for different particular settings, and then I have the pieces that go with those settings. But I think if I had no choice but to pick a favorite piece, I think it comes down to two pieces, actually. So You Are Mother is one of my favorite pieces that I wrote after I had my son, and just thinking and reflecting about motherhood. And my other favorite piece is Black Bodies for Breakfast, after the shooting of Philando Castillo, that I wrote. It was just such a powerful piece, and it just sadly is still relevant over and over every year. I literally don't have to write another piece about police brutality. I just replace the names, which is really sad. But I really like that piece, because to me it was like it just poured out of me so organically, and even when I perform it, like I just feel very emotional all the time. So those are my two favorite pieces to perform.
Okay. Well, that's my segue into asking you. So I've asked Paulina if she would be so grateful to share with us some spoken word poetry, and I'll let her get a piece that she's prepared or has already that she's going to share with us. And before we jump into that, I just want to hail up Jonathan and my friend Bling. Thanks, guys, for jumping in. I want to thank everyone who is tuned into iLive Radio, watching on YouTube or Mixcloud, or anyone who's on my Facebook. We're here with Paulina O'Keefe. She's a spoken word artist, and she's going to perform a little something for us right now in studio, live, our first live in studio performance. Hold on. Yes, we're making history every day.
Oh gosh. All right, so I'm gonna perform this piece, and it's called All Lives Do Not Matter. I'm just gonna perform a snippet. You have to check me out if you want the rest.
There you go.
We live in an era where racism is not dead. It just stays silent. Living just under the surface of tongues, dipped in denial, throwing daggers of microaggressions, coated with the smell of ignorance, afterthought apologies, and good intentions. Leading down pathways to hell for some whose lives clearly still do not matter. And all lives do not matter if Black lives do not matter, if Latinx lives do not matter, if Indigenous lives do not matter, if a life lived in some form of melanin does not matter enough to be treated equally. In the street, in the classroom, when stopped by police, when killed by others with no justice served, no peace felt, we are so far gone, lost, looking beyond the southern horizon, shaking our heads in judgment while our own backyard burns, secretly, silently, sometimes out loud, sometimes very blatantly, sometimes on purpose to remind us who is still in control here, reminding us that all lives do not matter if a life lived in some form of melanin does not matter enough to be treated equally. Thanks.
Let me give you a big applause for that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there you have it. So the name of that, I know, I need like a snap. So everyone who's not familiar in the spoken word community, you snap your fingers if you're feeling something, if something resonates with you, or if something touches your heart. So we don't really do hand clapping. So yeah, I need to get a little snap fingers effect. What was the name? The name of that poem again was?
All lives do not matter.
All lives do not matter. All right. So I'm wondering, what's the process for you in terms of writing something? Like, obviously for this piece, I don't need to ask where the inspiration came from, sadly. But like, what's the writing process for you? Like, how long does it take you to do a piece? I'm wondering if you can kind of help people kind of understand the energy that goes into writing a piece.
Yeah, it depends on the piece and what I'm doing, especially, if it's commission work versus my own just for the sake of art work. I would say the writing process does not take long. Like, it does not take me long to write a piece because I'm consistently inspired every day by either really dope stuff or really tragic and traumatic stuff. And so I'm living it, I'm feeling it. So really my pieces are just like what's in my head or in my heart and coming, it's just pouring out. It's just my opportunity to pour it out on paper. So most of my poems I write very, very quickly, but then I go back into the editing process, and it's more so the process around how I'm going to perform it, the cadence, the getting in tune with the character, that kind of stuff. That is what takes the time. Oh, and obviously the memorization, because I'm over 30 now with 2 children. Mom brain, poof.
Mom brain.
Right? Like, so it takes me like double time now to like memorize my pieces. But yeah, the preparation for the stage is actually what takes the most energy and time. The actual writing, this stuff just lives in me every day, especially now, every time you're scrolling. That's all material. That's all things that are hitting me in my pieces. It's all material for me, my everyday life, anything. So it's easy to write. I write almost every day in my journal, or I write poems all the time on the side. But then it's when I select them, edit them, and then put them through the process to perform that's a different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So I'm wondering if we can kind of talk a little bit about sort of, I entitled it, the next section, some questions I want to ask you is kind of like artist life beyond, right? So I'm just going to share with everyone that in 2019, Paulina was a TEDx speaker, which is pretty big. I want to be a TEDx speaker one day.
That's fun.
And in 2020, an excerpt of her first play, How Jab Jab Saved the Pretty Mass, was featured as part of Peace of Mind's Black Women in Theater Festival. Paulina's work has been featured in media on Bell 5 TV, Huffington Post Canada, Afro Global TV, Metro Morning, and CBC Morning, and has published in 3 anthologies and one book. So let's talk a little bit about the play.
Yeah.
How Jab Jab saved the pretty mask. I mean, you talked to us a little bit about like what that was, what happened.
Sure. So first and foremost, I must shout out my excellent co-writer, because it's not just my play.
Okay.
It's actually a co-written play by my very, very best friend and neighbor, Natasha Parsons Morris. Yeah.
Bam bam.
And so we two Trinidadians are writing this, or wrote this play, how Jab Jab saved the pretty mask. And how it came about is I actually just had the title in my head for like two years, actually. And it was inspired by kind of like watching what was happening during Caravana, watching what's happening with the next generation and understanding, and then my own understanding about carnival culture, and what was missing and what was, slipping away slowly every year. And so I'm like, I want to research this. I want to get more connected to my culture. And then I like hooked up with Natasha and I said, hey, you want to do this with me? And she's like, all about that, because her family is very Trinidadian and very artistic and all about carnival too. So we started this journey of like just exploring our culture, exploring carnival culture, meeting amazing people in Trinidad. So last year I got a grant. And we headed down to Trinidad in August. We got to like meet with some like amazing folks who do what they do in like old mask carnivals. So the stuff you see in Caravana, we call that pretty mask. All the feathers and jewels and whatever's left on, the bodies these days.
Not much.
Right? All that is called pretty mask. But we also have old masks, or traditional masks actually, where you'll see like more like of the costumes with these very specific characters like Midnight Robber and Pierre Grenade and Dame Lorraine. Like, so if you really look up traditional masks in Trinidad Carnival, you'll find these characters. They'll have stories and how they came about, and they're all connected to like resistance and revolution of the emancipated Africans in Trinidad and post-slavery. Right? It's all connected to that. And so we wanted to dig deeper, and we wanted to connect those characters and the idea of resistance and revolution and like kind of reclaiming like this is tribute, and what that was brought over here as a gift, right, to Toronto. And I think a little bit over time, like those roots started to get lost as more and more of it became commercialized, very pretty. It's all about beads and feathers and G-strings and whatever. It's just party, but it's not just party. It's really about a stronger thing. It's more connected to that. It's our roots to our ancestors, and people need to know that. So we decided to write this play, How Jab Jab Saved the Pretty Mask, and it's really about, these two young girls who are going through and understanding, Caravana from this Toronto scene, but then are getting connected through like these really cool spiritual deities of the traditional mask. Their little spirits come and visit them and are starting to teach them and train them, and so they start to want to understand a little bit more and go beyond just the feathers and the beads and see and it takes them on a little journey of their friendship and tests their friendship, because one is really about it and one is really about skinning out and the party life, and the other one starts to move towards to understand a little bit deeper. And so you see the tension between them in the play and stuff. So it's really, really cool. It's a lot of history in there, but with like a very Toronto contemporary vibe and characteristics. So we really like that.
Oh, that's awesome. So it sounds like the juxtaposition of real life, because you have younger heads, old heads talking about it would be great if the message of Caravana was this, or playing mass was this, and then you have the other side, which is we just want to run down there, we want to just party, we want to shake it all around. And so having people have a bit more of a historical context is definitely important. So that's awesome. So I don't know if I knew sort of more of the backstory behind that, so thanks for sharing. So I know there's been so many other things that you've done, and kind of thinking about where we're at nowadays and stuff. I guess I'm curious, as I read off, I mean, you've been featured in media, you've been on Metro Morning, you've like published some things. I guess I'm curious, what do you still want to accomplish, I guess, as an artist or as a consultant?
Yeah, as an artist, there's still lots I want to accomplish. I'm going at a very, very slow pace because I have a full-time job. I do a lot of side gigs. Honestly, people see me everywhere all the time. And I have 2 kids, 6 and 8. That's a very busy time, as some of you know. And then I'm trying to manage as well. So I would say what's coming next year, a lot of things. I'm currently wrapping up my first spoken word album. That will be dropping for Mother's Day because it's a motherly theme.
Oh, nice. So it's June, Mother's Day? May, sorry.
That's Father's Day. That's why you said
I
June.
know.
You try to get me to drop it for you guys.
I'm thinking about all the fellas.
It's May for Mother's Day. So look out for that. It is also entitled You Are Mother, based off the poem. So that's coming out. Shout out to my producer, Eastbound. And North Block Entertainment and the Ontario Arts Council. Thank you so much.
Bam, bam.
And then the other project I'm working on is the completion of the play. So I really need COVID to go away so we can get back down to Trinidad and finish our research and writing.
Nice.
So that's what we're working on. And then hopefully you'll see also a little bit more. I'll be slowing down a little bit on the performances next year, which is obviously COVID is helping with that, to do some more writing. So I want to creating more material, hopefully somewhat of a book or a chapbook, or at least contributing to another anthology. So getting back into that. That's
good.
That's what's happening on the arts life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're busy. I also know that this is something, I guess, maybe more in the consultant role, I guess, just kind of being inspired by you in terms of just refiguring things out. Like I know you've been doing stuff around stocks and stuff like that and teaching. So I'm wondering if you could share with us a little bit about like what you've learned and like what brought you to that space to start venturing down that path, because that's like, whoa, like just different, right?
It's a diversion. So in terms of that realm on the wealth building, because it's all about wealth building, it's not just about stocks for me, it's about creating generational wealth, particularly for my family, Black communities in particular, because we're the last in line to get on board that train. And so where that came from was just the crash of the stock market happened in March. And I just happened to have a really great friend, Adrian Palmer, who had set me up with a stock, like a brokerage account 2 years prior, when the cannabis wave was going crazy and everybody wanted to invest in cannabis. And I had opened that account, and then I realized I had put on every paycheck, like a little bit of money would go into that savings account. I'm like, whoa, I have some money. So I just started testing. I was like, oh, the stock market crashed. Let me buy some things. And so I just started there. And then from there, once I kind of figured out what was happening, I just honestly, well, Benjamin, you know me, like I dive deep into things and go into a weird obsessive mode. So from like March till May, I was like, obsessed. I took some I paid for a course learning really in-depth technical analysis with Terry Gioma and trade and travel. I started like binge listening to Earn Your Leisure. Shout out to that podcast, because that podcast changes lives, those 2 guys. And on top of that, Market Mondays with Ian Dunlap changes lives. I'm dropping gems. Please follow these people.
I know. Market Mondays and Earn Your Leisure. Earn Your Leisure. Okay.
Right. So the reason I got into it and why it eventually got connected to what I'm doing in consulting, and I wanted to teach other people. Like as soon as I learned things, I went out and created a very beginner's course, which I'll be starting back up in November again, dropping some sessions. But it's just to get folks into the stock market, just to understand that this is actually a legitimate way to make money. And why is that important to artists? Because for us, for artists mostly, we're always like, sometimes I feel like I'm pimping out my art to make $1 to eat.
Yeah.
Right. And that takes away from the writing I want to do for myself, from the creative, whatever I want to do. Right. Especially if I have to push aside my stuff for commission pieces or stuff like that. And so when I figured out I could make money on the stock market, sometimes I would make, whatever I would make in a show in a day, and I didn't have to leave my house, making it from the computer. I was like, okay. So I didn't have to, it makes me not have to accept just anything you're throwing at me. So now I can up my value. Now I can work on my creative stuff, on my projects. I can fund my own projects, which is so important when you're talking about the barriers of accessing the grant system and funding system. This is self-funded. This is a way for me to fund my community. In fact, actually this Thursday, I'm starting my first challenge called Trading for Change Thursdays. And every Thursday I'm going to be trading on that Thursday, and whatever I make, I'm going to pick a charity of my choice and I get to donate to it. And that is like so empowering, or a charity or an artist of my choice. This just told me that, hey, you can be self-funded and you can start supporting your community, because we're not going to be, you know, we're not here living gig to gig, right? We have something in the back end. I don't have to work at a Starbucks or a thing, or for some of us, you know, later on, a really draining, maybe like full-time job, right? You can figure out, if you can figure out the stock market, you can figure out financial freedom, and then you can figure out how to just do your art and sustain all your responsibilities, which is important to me with 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
So right away, I was like, whoa, it was like a discovery. I'm like, all my artist friends need to know this. All my mother friends need to know this, because women, like, a lot of the time, like, we really need our own resources. This helps moms who are stuck in potentially abusive relationships, don't have their own assets. This is all about getting them, you know, freedom. That creates a huge shift in the way of like who we have to be with, who we have to stay with, what our thinking patterns about what we can do with our lives are. So those are the 2 demographics I was really, really like trying to reach out to: artists and Black mothers in particular, but mothers generally, is who I like to consult the most and be like, hey, get on this train. And by the end of May, I can't tell you how many brokerage accounts I made people open, but I'm really happy. And some people are really did well with me in the month of May, who were working with me more closely. And I'm really happy for that.
Awesome. Well, kudos to you. And it's like a brave new step, right? Like taking on something different. But there's a few things I like that you mentioned, is just obviously doing some research and like really empowering yourself. And I think now that we've had 9 months of our current state, I think I know my eyes are definitely open. So when more of those trainings come up, I'm definitely gonna be knocking on your door, because I'm like, you know, maybe this will be a couple weeks, you know, maybe then it'll be a month, then it'll be like a couple months, and I'm like thinking, oh, by summer I'll just be back out there, like just doing my thing. And now it's like November, and so many things have been canceled. Myself, like yourself, so many other creatives and people in the event industry, just the amount of money we've lost, right? So I think now is the time to really start looking at other options and diversifying. And so I really applaud what you're doing. I think it's awesome, right? Holding that space for others to like jump in and learn, and have someone who really understands maybe their plight or their background or where they're coming from, to really embrace that, I think is like super important. So we're almost at the top of the hour. We've got one more big section, but we have a couple minutes. So other than what you've just shared, I guess, in terms of financially, I'm wondering, before we reach the top of the hour to pay some bills, I'm wondering, what advice would you give to other creatives other than what you've just shared? Would there be anything else that you would
I think my best advice is what I kind of was the theme of my TEDx talk, which is just jump. My best advice and my, I think, deepest regret is not taking this art thing seriously from the get-go. Like, I really let people get into my head and be like, you know, this is great for the side, but what's your full-time gig? So now what I say, especially to young people, I'm like, actually my art is my full-time gig, and then my day job's my side, you know? Because that's how you have to think, right? If you put the money, if you put the time, if you put the effort into it, it can become a full-time gig. You can make it, right? And this is a real thing. This is an actual career, which I think is easier for people to see now because of, you know, how content is created and everything's online, etc. But yeah, definitely I would say don't doubt yourself. You know what you love to do. And if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? And that's a real thing. If you push yourself and listen to other people, you'll be really miserable up until the point where you realize, man, I should just do what I love. Right? You hear of that all the time. People in corporate and then quit to do their thing, and they're like, oh, I wish I did this from time.
I know, they start too late.
So don't be late. Just jump in. You already know it. You got this. All of you are creative, and there's creatives in everyone. And if you think you're going to do this full time,
I'm gonna get you to pause. We're gonna have a break at the top of the hour, and we'll be back with Paulina a little bit more.
This is Jamie Sparks, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is Jermaine Robbins, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Yo, this is Kiana O'Quinn, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
This is Lavinia J from the UK, and you're listening to iLive Radio.
Hey, what's going on, everybody in cyberspace? This is The Groove Show with your boy, the crowd pleaser, DJ Mark Anthony. Don't forget, each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m., we want to put you in the mood for whatever the night has in store. I'm playing only the best feel-good party rocking, body shaking music from funk to soul to reggae to R&B, house to salsa, and much, much more. We call it The Groove each and every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Keep it locked. It's the crowd pleaser, baby. You know how we do. We'll see you on the air. Peace.
Attention à tous les musiciens, groupes, associations, clubs et organisations qui représentent les styles collectifs de musique à travers la Canada. Le moment est venu de reconstruire nos genres de nations musicales collectives comme le hip-hop, le R&B, le jazz, le soul, le reggae, le gospel et plus unis. La Nation de la musique collective est une organisation à but non lucratif engagée dans le développement de la musique collective. Des adhésions gratuites sont disponibles dès maintenant. La Nation de la musique collective, une seule voix, la force dans l'unité.
Hey. Hello and welcome. It's your girl Claude, aka Miss Out, right here on iLive UK. Be sure to tune into my shows each and every Saturday between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. My shows are called The Independent Injection because you can expect to hear deep and meaningful, fresh neo and bassline soul, slow jams and gospel mixed with a little bit of nostalgia. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I think it's my first night in the studio, getting the volume up. So we're back. I want to appreciate everyone on the outside who's been watching on Facebook, leaving some comments, checking in, waving. We appreciate all the love. Everyone from the community days where Pauline and I would be kind of blessing the streets, gracing the streets, and pouring into the youth. Want to thank people who've been leaving comments, and everyone who's listening on iLive Radio right now, everyone watching on YouTube and Mixcloud. Music is Everything podcast. If you're just new, we're all about sharing and uplifting the contributions and efforts of people who are from the music, corporate, club, and wedding industry, and really sharing the passion, the energy that people put into their craft as creatives and entrepreneurs, and really trying to archive these conversations for other industry, event, music, corporate professionals who want to maybe learn more, who want to get a leg up a little bit, maybe change lanes. And that's what this podcast is all about. And tonight we have with us Paulina O'Keefe Anthony. She's a creative consultant, community activist. She's a she-boss, she-ro. She does spoken word. She's a teacher facilitator and has been sharing with us her early beginnings, her journeys, and sort of where art has taken her creative juices and stuff. Has had her crisscrossing all over the city, teaching, using spoken word as kind of like a tool to really impact the lives of so many people. And she's made a very big contribution to the artistic landscape here in Toronto. I want to make sure I don't get this wrong. So she's one of 150 Black women making herstory as featured on CBC for her contributions to building the art scene here in Toronto, which as we know is rife with so much talent. So to be recognized is a really huge deal. So she was just sharing with us some things in terms of advice she would give to creatives, and I definitely like that message that you shared also with the TED Talk, which was just jump. And I think the Steve Harvey line, maybe it wasn't him, I just heard him repeat it, but I've heard it is that when you said jumping, triggered this off in my head was sometimes you have to build your wings as you're falling, right? And so I would echo a lot of the same sentiments that you shared in terms of just jumping, just going for it. I believe definitely in the law of attraction, and when you put your foot forward, like momentum keeps going, and as you keep going, another door opens. I mean, obviously you hit a few walls, but the more you consistently show up, the more things are going to happen for you. So I appreciate you sharing that message. So we're going to be coming up to our time with Paulina. She's busy doing so many things, and we don't want to keep her out all night because she's got two beautiful kids waiting early in the morning. I'm going to play music shortly in the second half of the hour. But before I let you go, it is our rapid fire segment. Yes, and Paulina's been dreading this because she knows how random I am, having worked with me in the past. So what I'm going to do with our rapid fire, for those who listen, is I pretty much just ask our guests a question and sort of like one word, you just respond. I don't want you to think too much about it, stew, ponder, just kind of give us a response. So I'll give you something easy to start off, knowing how much you love music. So who is your favorite soca artist?
Oh, Machel Montano.
Okay. Favorite spoken word artist?
Why would you do this? I don't have a favorite spoken word artist.
No? Okay.
No.
What's your favorite part of travel?
Oof. The first time I get into my hotel room and I just like dive on the bed and I'm like, yes.
Nice. Favorite music of all time? Now you have to say other than soca because I know that's your favorite, but another genre that you really enjoy.
Dang it. Favorite music of all time?
Oh, sorry, I messed it up. Your favorite artist of all time. So other than Machel.
Oh.
So who's your favorite?
See, I don't have favorite things, but the first artist that usually comes to mind when I think about artists is DMX.
DMX, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Huge Rough Riders fan.
Wow,
Huge.
okay. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
I don't know. I wish everybody just loved each other and stopped all the violence. Like, let's just live in peace.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're home on a rainy day. Which movie are you playing?
On a rainy day, I need a rainy day movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe like a Waiting to Exhale.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now this one is more around social media. So is there an app that you hate but you use anyways?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. You love them all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate any of them. I don't care really for Snapchat except for the filters. So I just use it for that. You'll never really see me post anything. If something's posted, it was my daughter. I'll let you know right now.
Okay. The disclaimer. So if we see Paulina with dog ears or crazy butterfly lashes, then it's the filter.
Yeah.
The filter life.
Yeah.
All right. So I have two last questions. I guess final thoughts. I mean, did you want to comment on anything, add anything, share anything new? It's just leaving you with the floor right now. Any final thoughts before you go?
Yeah, I think my final thoughts are always going to be the same when I'm talking on, public venues. I just want to shout out all the creatives in Toronto. There are so many more creatives than, major media will show you. It goes beyond, Drake or Jesse Reyes or whoever our mains are, The Weeknd. There are so many amazing artists doing so many things in Toronto. So I just want all of those artists to, whoever would be listening, to honestly big up yourself. You are the reason Toronto is the epicenter of creativity, and whether you make it big or whether you just continue to do and play local, you're contributing to this being the most creative, eclectic city in the world. So thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. And for those of you who are thinking about stepping into your art, stop thinking, just jump, just do it. We need more art. We need more beautiful voices and paintings and theater and stories that, mainstream media is never going to tell. So we have to tell it. So that's my main thing. And then the last thing I want to do is, of course, shout out my loving husband, Carlos Anthony, who has been listening.
Bam, bam.
And has a really dope clothing line and is an amazing artist and writer, up-and-coming writer himself. And I just want to thank him for all the support while, I've been on this artistic journey.
Yes. Did you want to plug his line, like where people can find him?
Yeah, you can find his clothing line on Carlos by Anthony. So it's carlosxanthony.com. And you can read his blogs and you can buy some merch.
Yes. And I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him, talking with him. Very talented guy. So let's give him a brap brap. Big up Carlos. And for yourself, where can people find you on social media or follow you if they want to reach out to you to figure out, hey, can I be a spoken word artist? They can pick your brain, or if they want to book you for something, where can people find you if you want to throw out your socials and stuff?
Yeah, well, people can find me like City TV everywhere.
Oh, hey.
But you can find me on Instagram at Paulina O'Keefe, Paulina Okieffe. It's a different spelling, so I have to spell it out. Or you can find me at paulinaokeefe.com. You'll attach to all my socials from there, but from my website, you can book me for anything that you need to, wealth building stuff, mentorship, gigs, all kinds of stuff. I'll let people know I am slowing down because I'm kind of booked to the end of the year, but I will be taking 2021 bookings anytime.
Awesome. Well, I don't know, I'm just excited. I'm excited for you, and I'm really grateful that you came in the studio. You did our first ever in-studio performance here with the Music Is Everything podcast. So grateful for that, grateful for you. It's, obviously we're all sort of living through each other vicariously on social media. So I'm kind of seeing some of your movements and stuff. And so make sure that you guys reach out to Paulina. She's a real powerhouse. She comes with so much skill and experience in a variety of different things that she's been doing. And I know on a personal note, very, very happy that we've had, so many years of working together, and you've helped out with some of my artistic endeavors and stuff like that. And you're an absolute powerhouse. So really looking forward to next steps, seeing other things that you're doing, and staying connected. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
Yeah, man, you did your thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into a little bit of music. DJ Elegance here. I'm going to get into the driver's seat. I'm going to drop some tunes from now until 11. We're going to rock out. And once again, thanking our in-studio guest tonight, Paulina O'Keefe. Make sure you hit her up, paulinaokeefe.com, or find her Paulina O'Keefe, OKIEFFE, on Instagram. Add her up, reach out to her. She's open and willing to work with others, collaborate, and you can pick her brain on a variety of different matters. So thank you once again, and we're going to get into some music till the top of the hour. All right, here we go.
I'm not so systematic, it's just that I'm an addict for your love. Nothing I wanna hold you, I never ever should have told you you're my only girl. I'm not the only one that holds you, I never pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgia, Georgia, pudding pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgia, Georgia, pudding pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgia, Georgia, pudding pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgia, Georgia, pudding pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgia, Georgia, pudding pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Kiss the girls and make them high. Georgia, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgia, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kiss the girls and make them cry. Kiss the girls and make them cry.
If I tell you now, will you keep on loving me? If I tell you how I feel, will you keep bringing out the best in me? You give me the sweetest taboo. You're giving me the sweetest taboo. Too good for me. There's a quiet storm, and it never felt like this before. There's a quiet storm, that is you. There's a quiet storm, and it never felt this hot before. You're giving me something that's taboo. Keep on loving me.
It's all about smooth vibes right now, R&B flavor. Yes, yes. Grown folks music. If you're watching on the Facebook, drop some track suggestions, some R&B flavor, grown folks music. If you know the words, just sing along. Yes, yes. Here we go, here we go. Yes, yes.
Oh, how long?
DJ Elegance.
Can't find the words to say. Yeah. I've kept your picture on my shelf, only there to remind myself. Oh, I have always cared for you. Still love me, oh my flame. Some things will never change. I still hold your vision in my mind. Say you still love me.
Yes, yes. Appreciate everyone on the outside listening in. R&B flavor till 11. Smoothed out. Yes.
Will I ever make you see? Ooh, that somehow you are still a part of me. Oh yeah.
Yes. iLive Radio. Grown Folks Music. Jody Jam Jam, I see you on the Facebook. Appreciate everyone tuning in, everyone listening, all the comments, all the energy. Woo! Music and vibes. It's grown folks music time. I'm so excited I can't talk. Let's go. Big time classic coming up. Yes, you do. Oh. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Grown Folks Music. Music is Everything podcast. Music for your ears. It's getting cold out. Hold someone close.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yes, yes. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston. Sing it.
It's not very easy living all alone. My friends try and tell me find a man of my own, but each time I try, I just break down and cry, 'cause I'd rather be home feeling blue. So I'm saving all
Yes, yes.
for you. You
'cause tonight is the night for feeling alright. We'll be making love the whole night through. So I'm saving all my love. Yes, I'm saving all my love. Yes, I'm saving.
Music is Everything podcast. DJ Elegance.
DJ Elegance.
You're in the mix.
It's all about music. We want to thank our guests for this evening. Pauline O'Keefe blessing us. We're going to take things up a notch. We playing old, new, new and old, everything in between. Grown folks music, straight classics. Yes, yes.
I never do but love like this. Gotta be something for me to write this. Queen, I ain't seen you in a minute. Wrote this letter and finally decided.
It's all about music.
Still delivered for us to grow together. Love has no limit. Let's spin it slow forever. I know your heart is weathered by what studs did to you. I ain't gon' sort them cause I probably did it too. Because of you feelings I handle with care. Some recognize your light but they can handle the glare. You know I ain't the type to walk around with matching shirts. A relationship is effort, I will match your work. I wanna be the one to make you happiest and hurt you the most. They say the end is near, it's important that we close to the most high. Regardless of what happened on him, let's rely.
Make sure you check us out on iLive Radio. The Facebook police may come for me. Men can be sensitive too, ladies. What's up? What's up? What up, Karen? I got family and friends. Everyone on the outside. Here we go. Grown folks music, R&B flavor. Yes, yes. That's the way it goes. Here we go, here we go. Classic material. When was the last time you heard this? Here we go. Yes, yes. Yes, it does. It's a beautiful thing. Smooth out.
Just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on his shirt. You don't believe his stories. You know that there are lies. Bad as you are, you stick around, and I just don't know why. If I was your man, baby, you never worry about what I do. I'd be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the type of woman deserve good fame. This full of diamonds, a head full of rain. Baby, you're a star. I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. A baby, good love and protection. Make me your selection. Show you the way love's supposed.
Yes, Music is Everything podcast.
Baby, you should let me love you.
It's all about music right now. I want to thank our guest Paulina O'Keefe, spoken word artist, creative consultant extraordinaire, for coming on. Grown Folks Music, it's all about you and me. DJ Elegance, Music is Everything podcast, iLive Radio. Woo!
Cause when we kiss, the moment after, I looked at you different, yeah. Lately I gotta watch what I say, cause you take things personal nowadays. You used to laugh, now you get mad. Damn, I just want my friend back, yeah. Can't get you out of my system.
Yes, yes. iLive Radio. So crazy.
DJ Elegance.
We hit you with old classics, new and everything in between. Who's looking for some of that real love? Oh, looks like the Facebook police got me. Hope everyone's enjoying it. On the outside, iLive Radio. Hit us up on Mixcloud or YouTube.
Strawberry wrapped up in chocolate. And from the way her body moves, I could tell that we'd have the bombest sex. But you gotta understand, girl, that it's all up to you. 'Cause I'm a perfect gentleman, yeah. When it comes to the way I do, you're gonna love the way I do. Baby, think it through. It's plain to see the kind that'll keep a brother on his knees. And I'm so curious. After the club, hang out with me. Valentino is sure to please. For now, let's have an apple martini and get to know each other. Tell me how you get there in those sheets. When you're popping in, it's killing me. Look over here, come follow me. Tell me.
Yes, R&B flavor. Keeping it sexy, smoothed out. We're gonna get a funky remix on this next one. Here we go. R&B flavor. We ain't playing around. iLive Radio. We're gonna get some more R&B flavor.
Baby girl, you know my situation, and sometimes I know you get impatient, but you don't put on a show to get ovations. Take it to court and go through litigations, and I respect your gangster. Treat you like a princess and put some on your neck to thank you. She's my pinch hitter. When the starting lineup ain't playing right, I come off the bench with her. It might sound like I'm gassing ya, but it takes time to get from the backseat to the passenger. We've been creeping and sneaking just to keep it from leaking. We so deep in our freaking and we don't sleep on the weekend. Wifey's a little bit uptight. Wonder why I keep coming home in the middle of the night. It'll be alright. If y'all bump heads, it'll be a fight. But I said it'll be alright. Come on.
I really wanna be with you. Wanna be real with you. I can't leave you alone.
We're gonna get a little new music. Yes.
Show me what it is you need. Show me what my eyes don't see. Baby, I could let you breathe. Baby, I could.
It's all about music. Talk to me, talk to me.
Show me what you want from me. Tell me and I'll make it real. Handle my heart, I will. Show me how you really feel. I just wanna lay you down. I wanna let you know. Baby, we don't need words. Let your body talk. Baby, don't speak. Let your body talk. So much to say. This is the only way to say it. We don't need words. Let your body talk. Baby, don't speak. Let your body talk. Body talk. Body talk. Baby, don't speak. Let your body talk. Body talk. Body talk. Baby, I can't get enough. No body talk. Body talk. Baby, don't speak. Let your body talk. Body talk. Body talk. I need your body.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? You're in the mix.
Patience, 'cause we've been going over and over again.
10 more minutes. Music is everything.
Take you home and get right into it.
We rocking it.
Gotta kiss it, baby, give it.
Hey.
Dig it inside you now. You know that I just wanna make love. Want you to scream and shout. And baby, we're now deep in it. Now I'ma slow it down, 'cause ain't no speed limit. When we're moving at the speed of sound, we gon' turn all the way up when the lights down. Why you too good, Miss Lady? Go on with that booty up, baby, when I want. You know I'ma go crazy when your legs in the air. You know your pennies never getting in the way. You know I kinda like it when you make me work for it. Hey, you got it all the tied up skirt. Get that in the bed, I'ma lock the door. Shake that like boom chakalaka, boom chakalaka. We don't need nobody watching us. No eyes but your eyes. Ain't nobody here but you and me. Licking your private parts, and I know you love your privacy.
Party hard, party hard, party hard for me. I'm gone. Party hard, party hard, party hard.
You are listening to the sounds of
DJ Elegance.
I'm gone. Party hard for me. Party hard for me. Party hard, party hard, party hard for me when I'm gone. Party hard for me. Party hard. Yeah. Blue cups only. Call up all the homies. You could come too even if you didn't know me. It's a celebration. I finally made it. Time to get wasted. Go ahead, get faded. Yeah. Go ahead, pour that sake. Right in front of Sache. I'm up here chillin' with Miyagi. Got my grandpa Teddy right here beside me. Yeah, party hard, party hard, party hard for me when I'm gone. Party hard, party hard, party hard for me. Yeah, party hard, party hard, party hard for me when I'm gone. I really need you to party hard, party hard, party hard for me. Yeah, it's a Lumbos, rose gold decorations. Do it for your girl in commemoration. Look, I'ma need y'all dancing. And when you cry, don't stop crying till you laughing. Yeah, I'ma need a bonfire on the beach. I'ma need everybody there to make a speech. Shut down the block and have a party in the streets. And keep partying for weeks. Then go to Simply Wholesome for a feast. Keep it going just for me. Peace. Party hard, party hard, party hard for me when I'm gone. Party hard, party hard, party hard.
It's all about vibes. Music is Everything podcast. DJ Elegance. Flavor. It's Chris Breezy. A classic, Tiana Taylor.
You are now rocking with DJ Elegance.
Sometimes we say things that we really don't mean. We do things in between the lines. We should do more to stand out. I'm sorry if I made you feel less than who you are. A little insecure. Oh, you're a shining star. I wanna spend my nights with you, my life with you. Oh, baby, babe. Please wait up for me till whenever I get home. I know that you're all alone, thinking about what you gon' do. I hope that you'll see it through.
And oh, you're gonna love me. You're gonna wanna hug me and squeeze me.
Sometimes I don't think we really say enough. Why is it so hard to keep in touch when we're laying right next to each other, baby? We shouldn't be in a thing so much. Overthinking, understanding. Don't let them feel it. Change it up, I wanna spend my nights with you, my life with you. Oh, baby, babe. Please wait up for me till whenever I get home.
Flavor.
I know that I'm all alone, thinking about what I'm gonna do. I hope that I see it through.
We're gonna end on this classic song by Jodeci. A baby making track for real. No, for real. iLive Radio, Music is Everything podcast. Sing with me.
Let the boss feel you. Oh, you feel so sexy, so good.
Oh my gosh.
If you know the words, just sing along. Yes.
DJ Elegance.
We can do it. More than friends. Yes, yes. It always has to end. Listen, I want to thank my musical guest, Paulina O'Keefe, spoken word artist extraordinaire, creative consultant, community activist. I want to thank everyone who chimed in, everyone who left comments on the Facebook, everyone watching on the iLive, listening on iLive, watching the YouTube, the Mixcloud. We'll be back again next week. Music is Everything podcast, DJ Elegance. This is how we do it each and every Sunday, 9 p.m. Thank you, guys.
Hi, this is Michonne Young, and you're listening to iLive Radio, supporting independent artists from all around.
This is Ronnie Sia, and you're listening to iLive Radio. iLive Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio. Listen to radio. Listen to radio.
It goes down right here on iLive Radio.
Yo, this is Razan here, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way we listen to radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
My beautiful people, it's your man Tayanas, and right now you got it locked to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio around the world, baby.
Join me, Uncle Funky, at noon Eastern Standard Time every Saturday for our music show, Give Me the Night, here on iLive Radio, and enjoy a nooner like no.
Attention all musicians, bands, associations, clubs, and organizations that represent collective styles of music across Canada. Now is the time to rebuild our collective music nation. Genres like hip-hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a non-profit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. Collective Music Nation. One voice. Strength in unity.
What's good? This is your girl, Drea Ivy, introducing my new show, Ivy Talks, the dopest podcast coming out of the beautiful city that is Miami, Florida, featuring the best artist interviews, covering the illest events in the city as we propel the culture of hip-hop and R&B. Make sure to check out Ivy Talks each and every Monday from 11 p.m. to midnight on iLive UK, changing the way you listen to radio. Let's talk.
Vibes and Vinyl is here every Friday live at 8 p.m. on iLiveRadio.com. Formerly of Toronto's FM radio airwaves, DJs Gene King and Ray Prasad are in the house once again to continue their tradition, promoting great house music to the world. You will hear exclusive releases and sometimes traveling back in time via some of the best disco, soul, funk, and house. So keep it locked and enjoy the ride. DJs Gene King and Ray Prasad have provided their listeners since 1996. Vibes and Vinyl in your face.
Ready to start your Saturday night? Tune in to the Beats and Bass Show here on iLive Radio with me, DJ Deep Sound. Delve into the sounds of 140 deep dubstep, drum and bass, house, and many genres. Spinning something different every week, featuring special guest DJs and artists. The Beats and Bass Show, weekly 2 to 4 p.m. UK time, here on iLive Radio. Be there or be square.
You're listening to iLive Radio.